Throughout history, people have been fascinated by the name of God. Believers and scholars have tried to uncover the true, original name of the divine being at the center of the Judeo-Christian tradition. By studying ancient texts, looking at language clues, and questioning old beliefs, we can discover something surprising. This discovery could change how we understand the Judeo-Christian God. The name of God, often called the tetragrammaton YHWH, has been a mystery for thousands of years. Many believe this four-letter name is the true, sacred name of God, passed down through generations. However, evidence suggests this is only part of the story. The full, original name of God might have been lost over time. At the heart of the Judeo-Christian tradition is the belief in one all-powerful God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This God is often referred to by the four-letter name YHWH, commonly pronounced as Yahweh or Jehovah. The tetragrammaton is considered by many to be the true, original, and sacred name of God. The word ineffable means the name is too holy to be spoken aloud. Because of this, people often avoid saying God's name directly. Instead, they use words like the Lord or the Almighty. The tetragrammaton comes from the Hebrew Bible, where it appears over 6,800 times. In the book of Exodus, God reveals this name to Moses, saying, "I am who I am," or "I will be what I will be." This statement is seen as God's way of identifying himself with the tetragrammaton, which represents his divine nature. Over time, the exact pronunciation of YHWH was lost because the original Hebrew text did not include vowels. Some scholars believe it should be pronounced Yahweh, while others think it should be Jehovah. This uncertainty has added to the mystery surrounding God's name. But what if the tetragrammaton is not the full, original name of God? What if the true name has been lost? This idea leads us to explore deeper clues in the Bible and ancient texts. One clue comes from the book of Exodus, where God reveals his name to Moses. He says, "Thus you shall say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you." Exodus 3, verse 15. Here, the tetragrammaton is followed by a longer description of God. This suggests that the full name of God might include more than just the four letters of YHWH. Another clue comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient Hebrew text discovered in the 20th century. One fragment, known as the Tetragrammaton Plus, includes YHWH followed by the Hebrew word Elohim, which means God. This suggests that the original name of God might have been a combination of YHWH and another divine title. Linguistic analysis of the Tetragrammaton also provides clues. The four letters, when translated from Hebrew, mean he is or he will be. Some scholars believe this means YHWH is not a proper name, but a statement about God's nature, that he is eternal and self-existent. If the tetragrammaton is not the full name of God, what could the true name be? One possibility comes from the work of biblical scholar Margaret Barker. She suggests that the lost name of God might have been YHWH Elohim, a combination of YHWH and the Hebrew word for God. This idea is supported by the fact that YHWH Elohim appears many times in the book of Genesis, often in reference to the creation of the world. Barker believes this longer name reflects the original, complete name of God, which was later shortened to just YHWH. She also suggests that the full name was deliberately hidden by religious authorities to obscure a deeper truth about God's nature. If the lost name of God is YHWH Elohim, what does this mean for our understanding of God? First, it suggests a more complex and multifaceted view of God. The tetragrammaton, with its meaning of he is or he will be, points to God as eternal and self-existent. But the addition of Elohim, which is a plural form of the word for God, suggests that God might not be a singular being. Instead, God could be a more complex, even plural, entity. This idea is not entirely new. In the book of Genesis, God is sometimes referred to using plural forms. For example, in the creation story, God says, "Let us make man in our image," Genesis 1, verse 26. This use of plural language has puzzled scholars for centuries. If God is one, why does he speak in the plural? The lost name YHWH Elohim might help explain this. It suggests that God is not just a single being, but part of a larger divine council or assembly. In this view, YHWH is the head of a group of divine beings, known as Elohim. This council would be responsible for creating the world and overseeing human affairs. This idea of a divine council is not entirely foreign to the Bible. In the book of Job, for example, we read about the sons of God presenting themselves before YHWH, Job 1 verse 6. In the book of Daniel, the prophet has a vision of the Ancient of Days surrounded by thousands of heavenly beings, Daniel 7 verses 9 to 10. These passages suggest that the biblical authors might have believed in a divine council led by YHWH. If this is true, it challenges the traditional monotheistic view of God as a single, all-powerful ruler. Instead, it presents a more complex, hierarchical view of the divine realm, with YHWH as the head of a celestial assembly. Margaret Barker suggests that this earlier, pre-exilic understanding of God was intentionally suppressed. She believes that religious authorities wanted to simplify the idea of God to a single, all-powerful being. By doing this, they could more easily control religious beliefs and practices. If the lost name of God is YHWH Elohim, and it points to a divine council, what does this mean for the biblical stories? It could help explain some of the confusing or contradictory passages in the Bible. For example, the creation story in Genesis uses plural language, which might reflect this earlier belief in a divine council. The idea of a council could also shed light on the role of angels and other divine beings in the Bible. Instead of being minor characters, they might have played a more important role in God's plan. The suppression of the name YHWH Elohim might also have had social and political effects. By promoting a simpler, monotheistic view of God, religious leaders could strengthen their authority. This might explain why the prophets, who often criticized religious leaders, sometimes spoke of God in more complex ways. Another interesting idea is that the lost name YHWH Elohim might include feminine aspects of God. The word Elohim is grammatically feminine, even though it is often translated as God. This suggests that the divine council might have included both masculine and feminine beings. In the Bible, wisdom is sometimes personified as a feminine figure who works with God in creation. Proverbs 8 verses 22 to 31. This could mean that the divine council included feminine aspects that were later ignored or suppressed. If this is true, rediscovering the lost name YHWH Elohim could help us recover the feminine aspects of God. This could lead to a more balanced and inclusive understanding of the divine. In conclusion, the search for the lost name of God opens up new ways of understanding the Judeo-Christian tradition. The name YHWH Elohim suggests a more complex, multifaceted view of God, including the idea of a divine council. This challenges the traditional monotheistic view and invites us to explore the Bible in new ways. Whether you are a believer or a seeker, this journey can deepen your understanding of the divine and its role in human life. By embracing the hidden truths revealed by the lost name of God, we may find a richer, more meaningful relationship with the sacred.